We're into the card shark era of Darwin Ortiz. We began our journey. We looked at, we had a couple of episodes where we looked at the Card Table, the first major book that Darwin put out. Card Shark is the next major book, and these are all showpieces that at the same time the Card Shark book came out. He also put out the book Strong Magic, which is a heavy theory book where he's elevating the impact of all the things that he does, and all of that is reflected in all of the effects that you see from that era and moving on, right? Because he's got a new way of looking at magic. He's got tools that he's shared with all of us. He's applied them to his magic, so that the proof is in the pudding, right? So I think you're going to see it right with this very first thing. So let's just get into it, and we'll talk about it on the flip side.
Awesome. Sounds like a plan.
Good.
We're going to try an experiment in pickpocketing. So I figured it would be a good thing to have somebody up here who had pockets that I could legally pick, or that I could pick without offending anyone. So we'll use Casey. We're going to try an experiment in pickpocketing, but for legal reasons, we'll use playing cards instead of money. As I spread through the cards, I want you to touch the back of any card you want whenever you feel like it, Casey. I'll go slowly so you can touch any card that you want. It's up to you whenever you feel like it. This one right here? Yeah. And that's the one that I want you to remember then. In fact, you can show it to the rest of the audience also. And everybody, please do make a special effort to remember Casey's card. Casey, you remember to drop it right there. It is important, Casey, so don't forget that card. For the time being, I'm going to leave Casey's card jutting out of the center of the deck. And in addition to the deck of cards, we're also going to need this set of stickers. We're also going to need this pen, or we could have used that pen, but anyway, we'll use this pen. What I'm going to ask you to do is to push that card into the deck. Push your card into the deck yourself. Exactly. Let's go even further. Why don't you shuffle the deck yourself? Again, you can cut a few times if you don't want to shuffle, or you can shuffle. You know, a while back, I started hearing stories among card cheats and con men about a pickpocket who supposedly was so good that he could steal the money from your wallet without taking the wallet out of your pocket. I mean, I know it sounds difficult to believe, and it's probably just a myth, but it did start me experimenting along those lines with playing cards. I don't want to touch them. I want you yourself to put the deck in the case. Just slide it right in there. That's terrific. So that Casey himself pushed his card into the deck himself. Casey shuffled the deck himself. Casey put the deck in the case himself. I want you to write your initials on the card case as a final precaution against tampering and cheating. Terrific. Do me a favor, get up and stand right next to me, Casey. And I would like you to check this pocket, make sure there's nothing inside it. If there is, please just move it to a different pocket, okay? Nothing? I'm going to take the sealed card case and put it inside Casey's pocket. Now, what I'm going to try in a moment is far more difficult than just stealing the money out of your wallet without taking the wallet out of your pocket. What I'm going to try in a moment is to put my hand inside Casey's pocket. I'm going to peel back the seal on that box, open the box, run through the 52 cards one at a time till I find Casey's card. Take the card out of the box, close the box, press the seal back into position, and pull Casey's card out of his pocket. And we need somebody to time it. Do we have somebody nearby who's got a second hand on their wristwatch? You have a second hand? I'll ask you to time it. Just before we do it, though, put your hand in your pocket one last time. Make sure there's nothing in there except for the deck of cards. Okay. Notice that my hand is empty and my sleeve is rolled up. Stand a little bit this way so they can see the pocket. That's it. That's perfect. My hand is empty. My sleeve's rolled up. I'm just going to get set. Now, you say go when you're ready to start timing. Oh, you know, I almost forgot. We're going to need this. You say go when you're ready to start timing. I'll say stop when I want you to stop timing, okay? You tell me when to go. Stop. Take the deck out of your pocket. Verify for everybody that it is still sealed with your initials on the seal. Yes? Have a seat, Casey. And once you're seated, I want you to open the box, take the deck out of the box, all right? How long did that take me? 1.5 seconds. It's a problem with getting old. Reflexes start to go. Now, I want you to hold the cards as if you're going to deal in a card game, Casey. And in a moment, I'll ask you to deal them in a face-up pile, one at a time, face up. And as soon as you see your card, Casey, I want you to stop. Everybody watch for Casey's card. If you see his card, yell out stop. Okay, go ahead, Casey. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Stop. Has anybody seen Casey's card yet? No? Go ahead. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Stop. Has anybody seen Casey's card? Go ahead. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51. Only 51 cards. Casey, what card did you select?
4 of clubs.
The 4 of.
It's
Boom.
good. It's a fooler, man.
It's a fun little thing right there, isn't it?
I think it's pretty great. I've seen a couple of these in the pocket things, and you know, I think Darwin's got that one licked. It's pretty good.
It was so good. My eyebrows,
Flourished.
they
Bloomed.
flourished.
It must be
flourished.
spring.
Yeah, you know, as much as I like, as much as I love, let me say, as much as I love to watch Darwin do magic, there was something about that trick that didn't tickle my fancy. I don't know what it was. I think maybe it might be anytime there's a lot of procedure in a trick or maybe where the cards have to be looked through the entire deck. Like no matter how fast you do it, it's still like, I don't know, it's still like takes too long. I don't know. There's something about it. Was it the pacing? I don't know what was it about it. Do you guys know what it was about that trick that didn't yeah,
tickle? I'm sure that counting at the end probably didn't rub you the right way. But I think if you're looking at what he's preaching in strong magic at the time, he's trying to get right up to the line, right up to the line of being right, just too much.
He's trying really hard to have the pace going and to stop him briefly and tell him what the point of it is. You know, he just stops a couple times. But anytime you're going to count through 51 cards, it's a lot.
And if he would have just spread those cards on the table, it probably would not have been as effective. It probably does not get as much of an impact. It might have been better if he spread off like 10 cards. Do you see your card here? 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 That's not in there. You know, if he would have just found a way to just go through that procedure a little bit quicker, you probably wouldn't have been rubbed the wrong way. Because to me, the rest of the procedure felt like it was all copacetic, you know, like, working.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say Newell just said it, like pickpocketing a card
is a
weird premise. Maybe that's what it is. Is it weird for you, Newell? Is that a weird premise for you too? Maybe. I'm curious if that's what it is. Yes. Maybe that's what it is for me too.
Now, far be it
from
me to question Darwin Ortiz. But I wonder if he's trying really hard to enforce the fact that it is actually that card, right? It's 51 left. Mm-hmm. And that might not be as strong as the takeaway of counting out all those cards. I don't know.
Yeah, you know, I think that seems to be the sticking point, was that counting stuff, because the rest of it probably would have flown. Because the reality is he's doing gambling demos all over the place. Going, hey, that's weird. Now I'm going to demonstrate how to deal a center, deal from the center.
And this is not to knock, or we're not knocking Ortiz at all. Like, he is a master magician,
without question,
no doubt.
But you know, like every little thing you create in this world can't be the most awesome thing ever, you know.
Adam, I will tell you this, what I just said about now I'll deal from the center of the deck and you'll see the cards come from the center, and he does all these proving things. I'm not as jazzed about those things. I didn't bring any of those things in here. The gambling demonstration that I brought in was that, and there's another thing where he sort of alludes to the idea of a pickpocket scheme, but they seem like bigger showpieces and they seem more entertaining to me than, and I got the 4 aces, you know what I mean? Because that's like what it ends up being, is that you see him deal out hands of cards, and it just shows that he's really skillful with the cards, and the climax is, and I got the best hand, you know. And that to me, that doesn't light up my mind. That doesn't say magic to me. You know, it says gambling demo, and I'm very interested in gambling demos. I think that they're entertaining in their own way, but in terms of like what magic does to people and what a gambling demo does, I'm in the magic camp, you know, and I don't confuse the two. So I'm totally with you in that regard. Some of the things that Darwin does, they're just not my cup of tea. And I don't, you know, it doesn't detract from the fact that I think he's one of the greatest ever, you know?
Yeah.
Let's see another piece.
Yeah,
of
let's keep
magic
going.
from
Let's
Darwin
keep going on
Ortiz.
this. And actually, we're going to shift gears, because in this, we'll see another view of that room. But in that room, we've been dealing with a big audience. Now we're going to go a little bit more intimate, where we have a table, handful of people around them, and it's just a little bit more of a proper close-up situation.
I'll show you one of my more recent creations, and I'll try and give you some idea of how I go about inventing these things. I'll ask you to help me first.
Okay.
I want you to reach in there, Leanne, pull out any card you want, leave it on the table. Just pull out any card you want, leave it on the table. That's perfect. Now, since I kept stressing that you could take any card you wanted, obviously, there's no way on earth I could have known in advance what this card was going to be. I want you to look at it. I want you to show it to everybody, but don't show it to me.
Okay.
Let me know when I can look again. Yes?
Yep.
Okay. Whenever I work on trying to invent a new card trick, I always try to take it further, try and take it a step further than other card manipulators would. And with this new creation, I think I can show you what I mean. I'm going to take Leanne's card, bury it in the middle of the deck, square up very meticulously, and as an added precaution, I'll even give the deck a shuffle. You can watch to see that this is a real shuffle and a thorough shuffle. Now, since we buried Leanne's card in the middle, squared up very meticulously, and even shuffled, if I could make your card instantaneously turn face up in the middle of the deck, you think that would be a pretty good trick?
Be amazing.
Not good enough. I'm going to try something far more difficult. But first, I have to ask you one question, Leanne.
Okay.
Did you pick a red card or a black card?
Do you want me to tell you the answer?
Yeah. Yes, this is not a mind-reading trick, just a card trick.
Red.
A red card. So if I just riffle this corner of the deck like that, I can cause every red card in the deck to turn face up. Every single red card, with one exception. What card did you pick, Leanne?
9 of hearts.
The only red card that did not turn over is the 9 of hearts.
Wow.
That's more like it.
I like that.
That's more like it right there.
Some good
Boy.
card magic.
Oh, yeah, that's more like it. Nicely done. Nicely done. I like that a lot. I mean, that's I wish I would have paid attention. Unfortunately, I don't know how that was done, but it was really great.
You mean
Yeah,
that's not just a cheek-to-cheek deck?
I don't think Darwin would ever.
No, no.
those
Okay.
in a
Well, then I'm
professional-
baffled then. I have no idea.
Yeah,
There
it's a
was
good one,
something-
man.
Alex, there was something interesting about the way he spread the cards at the end, but I don't know if that is a methodology thing.
He's just, that's the way he makes sure that he gets an even spread, is that pressure that he's applying when he does
Yeah,
that
he does.
spread.
Yeah, it's different. I don't
It's a
think
little
I've seen
tight.
other people do that. It's very tight and very measured.
Mhm.
Oh, so
But
he
he
does.
gets-
Perfect.
He
So
gets an
that's
even
something he
spread.
does a lot.
Yeah, I've
Whenever he
seen-
spreads cards on a table, you'll see him do that maneuver. Yeah,
Interesting. Interesting. Okay.
it's very
All right.
good, because it's a lot like that trick that we all really love, that play it straight triumph that John Bannon invented. Right, it's got a lot of that element to it, but then it's because it's got that color separation. Right, it's got another taste to it, another flavor to it. It's pretty good. I think he created a new thing there. That's a good trick, man. I love that one. Home run.
So you're familiar with the methodology of that one then?
Sure, and but it's not anything that I could do, but I'm familiar with it. I mean,
Could we talk- will you tell me in the after show? I'd
rather.
like-
There's another one I think that we should probably talk about in the after show. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
Uh-oh.
All
It's
right.
going to be one of those days. Is that what you're saying?
It's one of those days.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, let's get into this next one, and this keeps the sort of the feeling of all of the gambling scam of pickpocketing alive here, and I think this does it in a little bit more effective way. And it's a little bit more pleasing to magic folk like us. You'll see, it's really great. This is really great.
Speaking of money, do you have your wallet on you?
I do.
Do me a favor, put it on the table, would you?
Jeez.
And Dan, I'm going to ask you if you would take my wallet and put it in your pocket, maybe your inside pocket.
He's keeping it fair. Keeping it fair.
Keeping it fair.
I think we've got the most devious, dishonest group of people I've performed for in a long time. I really appreciate that. My kind of people.
Trust me.
You know, in my constant efforts to improve my skill at card manipulation, I've studied other fields that also involve sleight of hand. For example, I've also studied pickpocketing in the hope that those skills would carry over to my card manipulation, kind of like cross-training. I do know a couple of the top pickpockets in Europe. They've taught me a couple of things. I'll give you a quick example. Jeff, as I spread through the deck, I'm going to ask you to touch the face of any number card that you want. Now, don't choose a picture card, but you can touch any number card that you want. I'll spread slowly so it can be any card that you want.
I see one right there.
Go ahead, touch it. 4 of hearts?
Yes.
Then we'll place the 4 of hearts here so that you can sign it with your pen. I want you to sign your first and last name on it, the way you would sign a check, for example. That's why I wanted a number card, because the signature is just easier to see on a number card. I'm going to take the 4 kings, and I'm going to take Jeff's 4 of hearts, which has Jeff's signature on it, and I'll place that 4 of hearts in the middle of the 4 kings. And I'm going to take these 5 cards. We'll take these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. I'll place all 5 of them inside Jeff's wallet. Jeff, is it all right if I slip them in here? Is that okay? Okay, thanks a lot. Oh, I see you practice safe sex. That's very admirable. Looked a few years old. I want you to put that back in your pocket, would you?
Very good.
Now, what we did was it the 4 of hearts that you picked?
Correct.
Right, so what we did was we trapped Jeff's 4 of hearts in the middle of the 4 kings. We trapped all 5 cards inside Jeff's wallet. We trapped Jeff's wallet in his pocket. Now, not many people realize pickpockets always work in teams. One member is the wire. It's his job to actually pick your pocket. But the instant that he steals your valuables, he hands them off to his partner, the cleanup man, so that if he's arrested just a few seconds later, the police search him, they don't find any incriminating evidence. And as you may have guessed by now, I am the wire in this team. It's my job to pick Jeff's pocket, and frankly, Jeff,
Yes.
you've done it. Would you take out
Go
your
away.
wallet? We'll find out together. Just place it on the table. You remember that we had placed 5 cards in Jeff's wallet originally, yet we now have only 1, 2, 3, 4 cards.
Very good.
We still have the king of spades. We still have the king of hearts, still have the king of clubs, still have the king of diamonds, but no 4 of hearts. And why don't you check to make sure it's not hiding in there, Jeff? But I do believe that it really is gone. Right,
Yes,
Jeff?
there-
It really
right there.
is gone.
Amazing.
But don't look at me because I don't have it. Dan, did you take out the wallet I handed you earlier, place it on the table? As you may have guessed by now, Dan is indeed my cleanup man, which is why inside my wallet, which was in Dan's pocket, I have something very important. I keep it in the inner billfold wallet, and what I have here is Jeff's card. Right here, I have Jeff's.
Oh, good.
I think I got the wrong card. It's your number 372. You know, it doesn't matter because it doesn't help me to have Jeff's credit card if I don't have his signature. Fortunately, over here, I do have Jeff's signature on the 4 of hearts.
Very nice. What a team.
Thank you. As a matter of fact, speaking of team, I appreciate your help so much, Dan. After the show, I'll take the 3 of you out to dinner, my treat.
You're on. You're on.
I'll charge it.
Oh.
That was not supposed to be there at the end, huh?
Yeah. That was
Or was it? That little joke at the end? Was that? is that about-
That's part of his presentation. I didn't see it. Didn't seem appropriate to just cut him off there. I have
Right,
cleaned up a couple of them, but he left. He liked that line in there. Who am I to say that that's not art?
yeah. It's a nice take on card to wallet.
Exactly.
You know? It's
Exactly.
a nice take on it. It's like different. But
It's a showpiece, and it's
Mhm.
talking about the underworld of gambling. And I love when you can talk about the underworld of gambling in a magic sense and make it be interesting and something that people care about. And that, to me, this routine does that, right? It's like you're talking about the underworld of like what pickpockets do and how there's a couple guys that are involved in the operations. So you're sort of like letting people in on a secret, and then you get that beautiful effect that makes it look like you did what you're sort of purporting to do. I think this is pretty great. I think this is a great showpiece.
Mhm. Definitely. It's it's a really interesting way to approach that card to wallet plot. It's card to wallet in someone else's pocket,
Right.
which is really nice.
And he's got some beautiful subtleties on all of the stuff that made all of that happen. It's really, I think it's really good. There's a lot to learn about just that particular method from this presentation and the way that Darwin does it. I think it's to me, it became like the gold standard of, even if you don't do the pickpocket variation of what this particular thing is, it's all of the elements are there to make that thing as convincing as it could possibly be. I think it's pretty great. There's a lot to be learned from Darwin in this routine, among many others. He's really wonderful. Well, let's get into this last one here. This one is sort of this is a closer for him. We're going to go back into that room, that big showroom with all the folks watching. So we have a crowd, but this is Darwin's big closer. This is a good one.
Michael, do you still have that deck of cards you told me you had at the beginning? Can I have them? Thank you. Would it be fair and legitimate to say that when I asked you before, do you have a deck of cards, I didn't touch them, I didn't look at them, that this is the first time that I've seen these cards? I mean, in all honesty, right? In fact, I didn't even want to check to see if it was a full deck of cards. Can you assure me that it's a full deck of cards? All right, we'll find out together. I'm going to ask you to shuffle these cards. And you can shuffle as much as you want, as long as I can watch the shuffle. In fact, I want you to shuffle a lot, as long as you keep them in my hand, okay? You just put the deck down when you're satisfied.
We've got a weird like audio thing happening with that. So just start the video over and do a reshare on that and start it over from the top. It was like popping, and I don't know if you guys can hear that or not.
Yeah,
a little warble in the background.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so run it back and try one more time. Let's see if we can't get a clean audio.
Clean pull.
You still have that deck of cards you told me you had at the beginning? Can I have them? Thank you. Would it be fair and legitimate to say that when I asked you
Well, let it roll. It's fine. We'll just ignore it.
before, do you have a deck of cards, I didn't touch them, I didn't look at them, that this is the first time that I've seen these cards? I mean, in all honesty, right? In fact, I didn't even want to check to see if it was a full deck of cards. Can you assure me that it's a full deck of cards? All right, we'll find out together. I'm going to ask you to shuffle these cards. And you can shuffle as much as you want, as long as I can watch the shuffle. In fact, I want you to shuffle a lot, as long as you keep them in my side, okay? And you just put the deck down whenever you're satisfied. And, don't feel self-conscious because there are 80 people watching you. And don't let it bother you that this is being recorded for posterity, that people will be watching you do this long after you're dead. Actually, you're doing very well. You're doing so well that you're going to make this very difficult for me. But you go on as long as you want. I don't want to pressure you. Whenever you feel like stopping, you put the deck down. But I got to tell you, all bets are off on this one. I'm going to ask you to stand up. Would you stand directly behind me? Lynn, what I want you to do is to cover my eyes with your hands like that. Keep your fingers together. That's very nice perfume that you're wearing. And I think that this factor should raise the difficulty rating of this to at least a 9.8. What I'm going to try and do is to cut to a particular card. Now, Lynn, this is not an ace, is it?
No.
But is this an ace?
Yes, it is.
Which ace is this?
Ace of diamonds.
The ace of diamonds? Keep in mind that this is not my deck of cards. This is Michael David's deck of cards, which I've never touched until a moment ago. But I will try to cut to another card, not this one, because that's not an ace, but I think that this one is an ace. Is that correct, Lynn?
That's correct. That's
Which ace is this? Lynn?
spades.
The ace of spades? And keep in mind that this deck of cards was shuffled by Casey, in fact, very thoroughly, immediately before we began, which makes it considerably more difficult, but I'm going to try to cut to an ace. Now, that's not an ace, but I believe that this is an ace, right?
Yes, it is.
Let me see if I can figure out myself which ace this is. Is this the ace of hearts?
Yes, it is.
The ace of hearts? Now, the last one is always the most difficult because with only one ace left, the odds against success are 47 to 1.
Come on.
But, that's
Come
challenge. And
on.
of course, this is not an ace, but of course, this is an ace. Which ace is this?
Not an ace.
What card is this?
The four,
Or what?
hearts.
This is the four of hearts? Sometimes, if you take the four of hearts and you just rub it, you can change it into the final.
That was a closer, right? Was he closing his set with that?
Closing the set with that.
That's strong, bro.
It's got all the
Strong.
elements, right? It's got all of the thing where he's like being a skillful guy, showing that he's a skillful guy, but it's like wrapped up in this presentation that makes it so entertaining with the eyes being covered, the challenge condition. It's like the challenge is being met. Like you're just in the moment with it because once all of those conditions are set up, now you're just like watching going, all right, is he going to mess it up? Is he going to fail? How's he going to do this? How's he going to pull this off? It's so good.
It just goes to show you how like a simple presentation choice like that can take a trick like that, which would be kind of like, right? And make it like something that you're on the edge of your seat going, can he do it? How did he do? Right? I mean, you get into it.
And when he
So
fails,
you're talking about the
The covering of the eyes. And
Yeah, that's a very, very good observation, Steve. It kind of reminds me of a choice you'd make, to like make a trick.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I don't think I'm that clever, but the thing that's cool about it is that we've seen Find the Aces a million times. Like we've all seen it, and we'll watch it over and over again.
Yeah.
But it's not like edge of your seat kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And he made it into that. He made it into edge of your seat just with that simple choice. And I think that's the biggest thing. It's like you need to make choices, different choices than you've seen other people make if you want to really expand your horizons and discover new stuff,
you got to be different in some way.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
and it doesn't have to be crazy.
That's another
just a
East cutting
simple
trick.
choice.
Right.
That's the one we're going to discuss in the after show, right?
That's right.
Good.
That's
good.
the one.
And in addition to that, there's a moment there that he creates with this that I don't think we're exposing any methods by talking about this, but that moment where he fails, so weird because he set up those conditions. You get to a point where like you want to cheer that he's failed, but you're like, oh, he failed.
Yeah, it's the last one too, right?
Yeah, but you're like, you're conflicted at that moment. Like, do I want to cheer for the fact that he failed, or I wanted him to be successful? And then when he does then pull out the he's the comeback kid and he pulls the thing out and there's the ace, it's like and the tension's releasing. You just want to cheer. It's
exactly
really, really skillful, man. I think it's wonderful. It's a wonderful piece of magic. The blind aces, that's a killer, just a killer. And this actually will be the end of our Card Shark journey. We have one more place we're going to go with Darwin, but this is the end of Card Shark. So I hope you guys had fun looking at this era and this material. The next era is a little bit heavier, so buckle up.
Uh-oh. We're going heavy.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.